I think that HLE, they need to grab this one as DOGE's going to get caught on the bottom side. It's a great pick from NSㅣDK. Yeah. Now they have to do this without their Lee Sin. Or manage to stall for 35 seconds. I just don't think it's going to happen. HLE Esports will have to give away Soul Point. And that is not what you want to see. Thankfully for them, it is Cloud Soul. It's not exactly the most amazing, but still, you're going to be sad about it. As Chovy looking to try and catch Peanut on his way through. Yeah, Q comes in and Peanut, will he get stunned? Yes, he will. Blast Cone going to troll in there, but beautiful equalizer from Arthur. No follow-up. They are going to be able to get out. So Peanut just happily walks down the carpet, and it's okay.
Nice attempt at a play setup. It's DOGE that actually saves his buddy there. Because you are 100% dead if that Renekton gets even a little bit more time with your setup. And yeah, just a really nice vision trap here, right? There's no vision on the bot side. We see that DOGE thinks that he can just join the rest of his team. And he just gets blown up. And 4 versus 5, there's no way. And leading up to that, we were saying, kind of do need to deny this trade from NSㅣDK because, yes, Cloud Soul, not necessarily the greatest of souls, but if you look at the ultimates available for the opponents, you don't want them to have more cooldown reduction. You don't want them to have more movement speed.
Oh, wow. The lethality really doing some work here as Chovy going to get stunned. Solar Flare used defensively as Gori to make his way in. They do respect it. NSㅅDK are going to be able to move out. And Def just going to go back to just taking minions from these waves. Always very satisfying watching a Sivir farm. But it is just more and more ping pong as he's going to go back to base. See what he can actually complete. As the Luden's done for this Yuumi. We've seen a lot more of these very damage-focused Yuumis. And so Vist is actually going to do some work here, especially now that Vist is paired up with Arthur.
Yeah. So Gori obviously very far behind in terms of items. The rest of the map is relatively even. We do see the Horizon Falcon just now finished for DOGE, which is going to give him a lot more damage. Obviously, that works very, very nicely on a champion with as much range as the Ziggs. Ultimate really going to bring out a lot more pain, as well as his usual poke to come through. We see Rich, I like this, has gone for the Blade of the Ruined King. And we've seen Viego's kind of move away from the Starix, which I personally really like, because then you are extremely reliant on your team to do damage, and now you can still fight. You know, you're a little bit squishier, but Divine Sunderer gives you a lot of survivability. Just use your stealth, weave in and out. And obviously your side laning pressure is way better with Blade of the Ruined King, as we can see there. He's not afraid at all to fight into DOGE. And I think his 2-item spike is also considerably stronger. As traps are being set up.
Yep, Def trying to find some boomerangs here. Of course, this build all about the boomerangs. Try to hit as many of those as you possibly can. There's Peanut. Oh, I've seen this one before. That is going to be another flash that comes out from Def. He is going to get the teleport as Equalizer comes down once again. Def with the ulti. They're trying to catch up to Peanut. They'll get him. As now Chovy's looking for even more. Oh my goodness, DOGE. He's going to have to flash. Might have actually just escaped here, but he's going to give a bit of control over to HLE as, yep, Satchel Charge gets DOGE to safety. They do get one. That is it. It is the jungler, though. HLE, are they feeling frisky?
Nice play there by HLE. Deft, yes, he almost gets taken down, but the key thing is, he didn't. He didn't. Great use of spell shield there, and I think that if you know he has flash as Peanut, you try and go for the play, and then the moment he flashes, you back off, right? But they overextend a little bit too far. I don't think you can do this though, Hanwha. You're in a Baron pit against Ziggs.
Yeah, but there is no flash, no smite. So maybe that's going to help out as Deft once again has to spell shield. Oh my goodness, the Sivir is just dead. So Yuumi doing a fair bit of damage here as Chovy looking to make his way out. Haymaker does about nothing as they do have to back away from the Baron. And NSㅅDK, now with positional advantage, just sticking around the area. It's just going to be the Baron dissuaded, and they'll get out.
I'm really impressed by DOGE Ziggs. If you watch how he moves around these fights and how he's consistently able to set up plays, because here, the moment that flash comes through, you're happy. Right? You don't need to go for this. You don't have the vision on top side. Peanut just getting a little bit greedy. Chovy with a nice flank being set up as well. But here, DOGE, like getting that flash over the wall, that is a hard one. And look here as well, the amount of damage he's able to do with the mines as well as just the poke. And then recognizing that a flank is going to come through, immediately getting away from the Lee Sin Yuumi on the bot side. Whereas the rest of NSㅅDK, they're happy to just brawl there, and this is where the beefiness comes in, right? Like, sure, Gory had a really rough early game. He's still set. He's got two item spike now, and this is a must-win fight for Hanwha Life. And I think Nongshim's team finding thus far has shown that even with this slight gold lead, it's going to be a rough one for Hanwha.
Yeah, very much is. Gold lead is, 1.5, something like that. So this is going to be our first real 5v5 though, as it's just been a lot of catches, as maybe it'll happen again as Peanut looks for it, doesn't invest the Moonfall, going to hold on to that for the ensuing fight. The poke damage from the Sivir is something that Nongshim does need to be very careful of, as Deft looks for yet another one. Has to start landing these. The Q is going to connect there onto Kellen. Dudu just trying to zone them with his presence alone. Vista there as well, remember. Final chapter going to be very important as in goes Gori. Super Mega Death Rocket, not really going to do too much, as of course that's the wrong ability name, but Deft is just already dead. Arthur goes Golden. He's going to be taken down as well as Peanut. This is just jungle superiority demonstrated in the back line as the Cat can't do anything alone, and Rich is going to be able to pick up that kill. Who's the best lead in this game? Maybe it is in fact Viego, as they will be able to get themselves the Cloud Soul, and unfortunately for Hanwha Life Esports, just not able to get it together.
And Gory has a horrible game up until this point. Gets solo killed repeatedly, then dies in the side lane, but it's all worth it that he's on the set for this specific play. We talked about this combo. The spell shot has gone for Deft. Gory goes in. He just keeps everyone on that bomb, and that's all he needs to do. Like, then the follow-up damage is always going to be way too much. Meanwhile, Dokdam, sure, he dies, but it's not the end of the world, as Rich is there to pick up the kill, get the reset. And beautifully split fight from Nongshim, making use of their long-range engage. And I don't know what you do there as Hanwha if your poke doesn't stick.
Yeah, well, I also get frustrated about Ziggs' ultimate name. Called it a Super Mega Death Rocket. It's a Mega Inferno Bomb.
Yeah,
but, they're so similar.
They are, both in what they do, how they feel. Like it's like mayhem bombs.
Yeah,
you know,
just big bombs, right?
Also,
I apologize.
It's easy to poke fun of you, but then really consider how many ability names there are in League of Legends, because that's something that's easy to forget. And then you have things like you have Frozen 2 and Glacial Prison, and then Glacial Fissure, and like you can go on for quite a while. And then you have ability names being removed, like Arcane Smash,
like the Pillar of Filth. That was my favorite ability name. Got rid of it. Pillar of Ice. It's just another glacial one. Oh no. Well, speaking of oh no, if you're a Hanwha Life fan, this is an oh no situation, as Gori now just happily standing in front of everything. And it's almost like he didn't go down 0-4-0 at the start of the game.
Sure, he does have a Flame Horizon though, so
he does.
That's
there we
something. But the fact of the matter is that, as pointed out earlier, I think that the Bruisers are actually doing fine on the side of Hanwha Life, but it does feel to me right now that we talked about that combination, like the reason why Set is so strong. Yes, Set in of itself is a good champion, but it's about the setup he provides for his teammates. And there might not be a Rumble, but Diana is strong, but Dokdam clearly knows how to play the Ziggs, but in addition to that, not only does he know how to play it, they set up for him so well. Right? And the amount of damage that the Ziggs has done in this game is way more impactful than Deft's damage has been.
Yeah, they've just been playing way more proactively around it as well. A lot of that has to be delivered over to Peanut on his 298th game here in the LCK, as there is the ult out of Deft as Chovy looks for Dokdam in the backline, but sacrifices his entire health bar for it, has to make his way out. No one's dead just yet, as the flash will get Deft out of the way of Peanut. But now Nongshim have the health bar advantage, and they'll be able to grab at least this mid inhibitor. With a minion wave now taxiing through, Nongshim will be able to grab 2 of them. War of Attrition 1.
Now 2 inhibitors are down. Hanwha Life kind of stuck in their base, can't really move out. Flash is gone. Means that any subsequent big play coming through from Gory or Peanut is going to be that much more threatening. Peanut also still has his flash available.
Yeah.
And it started out really well for Hanwha Life, and I still think that this is a way better looking team, as here we can see the glimpses. However, in this scenario, yet again, they just can't get onto Dokdam. Chovy does his best, and even with a Yumi, he can't stick on top of this Ziggs. And then they invest a lot. In fact, I don't think. I think I will be forced to vote for Peanut because he's been the flashiest. Yep. But I want to vote for Doctor because I'm continuously impressed by this player, and the fact that his mastery of Ziggs is as impressive as it is quite nice. But I talk about POG votes. Let's not forget that there is still an incredibly fat crocodile with a Yuumi in this game, and yeah, we know what's going to be said about this game afterwards. If you see this gold graph,
yeah. Okay. Gori's going to get stunned up. That is just a lone kitty cat though, so not going to be able to find any value for it. So that is a decently large tool now taken off the board. A minute and a half until the Elder Drake. I mean, Harmolife Esports, they might be able to flip for it. If they can pick that one up, then their prospects are looking a whole lot better, but right now it feels like they're circling the drain. And we haven't seen any 5v5s actually work for Harmolife. We haven't seen the Crocodile superiority or anything like that. Solar Flare not going to find any joy whatsoever as Chovy, the Dominus, does come in trying to keep himself alive, but Def Heat has no such luck. Gori gets on in here, he's able to tank up the turret really comfortably. As Nongshim, their wallet's just a little bit too heavy after that Baron. And now, yeah, Chovy has survived for a very long time. He has Vista there as well, but it's just not going to be enough as Nongshim will be able to win this game. Harmolife Esports, they did find themselves a few avenues in at the beginning, but Chovy now has to just watch his Nexus fall. Just not enough. Nongshim Red Force take game one.
And it was a good start for Hanwha Life, and I still think that this team looks a lot more like the team that we kind of have been expecting, right? At the beginning of the split, where we were like, okay, Hanwha Life, they might not be the strongest, but they should consistently be able to maintain a decent form in the matches. We see a little bit more of that. Chovy looks back to his old self, because I think the last couple of weeks were a little bit rough for him, but this is definitely good old Chovy in the mid lane, the flame horizon, the pressure, the solo kills. But then, as previously, it goes wrong in transitioning that, because the cross-map plays, they work out early, but then once 2-3 team fights go the way of Nongshim, the game quickly snowballs out of control for basically the entirety of Hanwha Life.
And it just seems that, you know, Dudu falling behind and not being able to find too much. Deft also getting caught out of position multiple times towards the later end of the fight. It is, that's going to be much more impactful than a set going down 0-4 at the beginning of the game.
The painful thing is, I think, like, obviously in the mid lane, that was Deft just making a mistake. But outside of that, I think it's just, that's just the champion. Like, I don't think Deft ever really gets to play that game if you have a Yuumi, even with the Yuumi on you, because the amount of, like, long-range dive that's available between, as said, the Ziggs, Set, Diana, Viego, it just, there's too much, right? Like, you run out of spell shields, you run out of heals, you run out of flashes, and then there's nothing you can do. I like the idea of the Sivir, but I don't really think that the concept of the draft really worked out. And Gori, you know, his early game wasn't great, but he did recuperate very well in the mid to late game and showed us yet again why Set is so highly regarded.
Yeah. Let's have a look at some of the damage here as Chovy did do the most on his team. Surprisingly, it's Rich. Does double what Dudu was able to put out there towards the top side. They were definitely fighting a lot, but Rich having another great performance here today. And he's just going from better to better, man. He's really, and on such a wide variety of champions. I mean, if you're a Rich fan, you're a very, very, very proud fan right now.
I agree, and I hope that the meta doesn't stray away too far, because I think in the grand scheme of things, what was Rich's one most iconic champion? The Aatrox,
yeah.
Right? And right now, it's Conqueror, Melee, Bruisers. Sure, it's not quite Aatrox, but I am happy to see him develop.
I think that Viego is just Aatrox that's easier to play.
Yeah, it works, but it does so well on it, and previously, that wasn't always the case.
Yeah, I mean, easier to play until you get the resets, and then you need to know every champion in the game. So that can be quite difficult. Thankfully, his base kit isn't too difficult to wrap your head around. But speaking of, let's just go to a short break. When we get back, we'll see whether Harmolife Esports can fight back against Nongshim.
여기 다이브 하자.
얘네부터 올게. 네.
11.
아, 뭐 못해.
레넥 노플이고. 가자. 쭉 들어가자. 레넥 노플이야 얘들아.
풀렸어.
럼블 먼저. 레넥 노플.
타워 해줄게.
나 초식에 있고.
잡을 수 있나?
나 미드 그냥.
나 집텔 집텔.
리즈 잡았어. 끝내.
천천히 하면 끝내.
타워 먼저. 얘들아 어차피 얘네 들어올 거니까 그때 보면 돼.
그냥 끝내면 될 듯.
그래.
디시 내가 됐다. 되지. 나
테리.
소리. 테리.
야, 너무 미안하다.
잘했다 저기리. 뭐야?
허수.
네?
이번 판은 재밌을 거야. 우리가 항상 덧방이야.
저 전판 졸렸어요 여기.
알았어.
엄마 공사 될때 강?
여기 라칸 있어.
공.
좋은 거 같긴 하다.
살만.
나쁘지 않은데?
야잘 빨았다.
이걸?
철갑고. 다 땄다 이거.
와 이거 뭐야 키아나?
죽여놔.
설계야?
설계. 나 혼자 암살각이나 봐야겠다.
나를 봤다? 와우. 나 물렸고. 나 원컵 나네.
좋은데?
키안 좋은데?
버스 탔네. 감사합니다 형님들.
나 이기고 싶다.
우리 미들 롤킹이야.
그래 이기자. 내가 잘할게. 내가 콜 좀 잘할게.
천천히 해봐,
천천히.
살면서 싸움 바로 돼.
떼면서 천천히.
죽어 싸움 바로 돼. 괜찮아.
가자 천천히 가자. 나이스. 야 미드.
아이 선사게 안 끝나. 침착하게.
아니야 끝나.
실수만 제발 하지 마. 밀어내자.
나이스.
야 중렬 억울 끌수 있어.
나왔어. 이겼어.
가자. 볼배. 일로와.
죽여.
슈퍼 캐리. 나이스. 바텀.
썸들게. 오케이.
미안하다 얘들아.
끝내. 타워.
타워 쳐. 제발 형들 타워 쳐줘.
얘들아.
잘했다. 미안하다.
나 진짜 나 울것 같아.
나 롤킹 너네 나 못 이겨.
시우 형 일절 뜰래?
나 방판 올게.
형 뒤에 집에 찍은 건 뭐야?
집에? 나 널 지배하려고.
오. 아이 말래? 뭐? 앙? 되겠냐 이게?
왜 안 돼 이게?
시우 형 개 못한다 근데.
진혁아, 시우 형 서포터라 그런 거 몰라.
그런가?
야, 그 싸가지 없는 말을 하나? 이래 짱센데?
이래 원래 세지. 그냥 5스택 이래한테는 덤비면 안 돼.
덤벼 될것 같은데? 너 잡았어. 뭐야? 5스택 이렐인데 왜 내가 이겨? 이나?
그러게.
리?
일단 거긴데 내가 볼 때.
기나, 넌 가만히 좀 있어. 탑에서 캠플이나 해가지고 궁이나 써라고.
그니까.
정글 서포 이래는 안 된다니까?
예! 너의 그 아니란 생각.
잠시만. 이거 내가 이 맞췄으면.
나오세요. 갈게. 내가 2대2의 수고. 다음에 내가 일을 할게.
진혁이 부들부들.
혹시 물 하나만 줄 수 있나요? 카나 선수. 감사합니다.
빨리 끝내자. 나도 그만할 때마다 불안하다니까. 믿어.
나 소식해. 이거 나쁘지 않아. 싸마자. 이길만해. 이겼어.
우리 세차부터 볼게.
사일러스 죽었거든. 빼.
내가 흥분 안 하면 될 듯. 나 좀 침착해라고 말해주면 좋을 것 같아 한타 때.
얘를 잡으러 가야 될 것 같은데.
하나만 막아야 돼.
잡으면 장록이네.
나 잡으러 올 것 같은데.
이거 얘들아 장론 나갈 거야.
이거 나 지금 집이라도 끊을게.
발언으로 막자. 우리 또 싸움 하지 말자 당분간.
벤치공 3렙이 엄청 길지?
나 3렙까지는 안 해봐서 몰라.
길어.
오늘 이 판 이기는 사람이 오늘 경기 이길 거야.
화장실 가고 싶다.
쌈 보자. 줄거 쌈. 애들아 줄거 쌈 보면 돼.
갈게. 유산 노플이야.
그라스 노플.
그라부터 볼게.
그라 잡았어 얘들아.
나 일단 죽긴 하겠다.
안 죽으면 좋긴 한데. 잡아야 돼.
잡았다.
장론 30초.
머리 박았네. 왜 이렇게 불하냐. 궁 하나 되게 신중하게 써야 된다 이거.
이번에 진짜 끝내자.
위에 살짝 봐줄게.
노플.
그만.
오케이. 뺄게. 약탄기 캔슬 준비했다.
클리어하자 다시.
잘했다. 맞아. 아 괜찮아. 지금 가볼 생각하자. 앞으로 가볼래?
타워 쳐.
아니야 쌈바 얘들아 세트 노플이야.
타워쳐 게임 끝났어.
타워쳐? 오케이 타워쳐 타워쳐
나이스.
아 진짜 얘들아 우리 집중하자. 우리 진짜 집중 못하면 이렇게 된다.
미안.
개웃기네.
Hello and welcome back to the LCK Analyst Desk. This is the final day of the week and we are kicking off with Hana Life Esports versus Dongsin Rat Force, joined by Victory and Nuclear. Dongsin Rat Force is currently on the second place and they were taking on Hana Life with a huge momentum, and actually they were able to secure a win. And we saw Ziggs AD carry or rather bot lane coming out. This champion is proven on other regions as well, and this champion has taken off in the solo queue as well. So a lot of people were actually aware of the fact that this is pretty viable in the current meta. We were waiting for it for so long. Hana Life Esports is originally a team that usually played this champion, so it was really impressive to see that actually Dongsin Rat Force decided to play this pick. Sivir and Yumi also didn't have a lot of action to show their strength in this game. Another advantage that Ziggs brings to your team is that this champion can allow more of the options on the top side of the map. They allow their solo laners to play AD champions. So Ziggs looks like a very strong pick here in the LCK in the current patch, and together with Leona, he can stand in lane, but when Leona is away making some roams on the other side of the map, he has to be really cautious. He has to, hug the turrets, just farming the minions with his ability, but still, Dokdam in this game managed to pull off that play very effectively. Now here's the first replay where Hana Life Esports got overextended and lost the trade so bad around the Herald and also around the top lane. Toby started off this game with a solo kill onto that set, so maybe they got overexcited about their power that they had. 3 of the players were invested on the mid lane, which means Dongsin can easily start off the Herald and use their Herald and make a rotation towards the top lane. Rumble Yumi exposed themselves on the mid lane, which means Dudu is under a big trouble. If Hana Life, committed so hard on the mid lane and rotated to the right-hand side of the map, they had to either secure the Drake or at least try a gank on the bottom lane. However, Hana Life didn't take the Drake, didn't exert pressure down on the Ziggs, who was left alone in lane. So it was really awkward to see this kind of a decision-making from Hana Life Esports, and because of that, Ziggs was able to stay untouched by himself in that lane. And we also want to break down the rune choice of Arthur on Rumble. Usually, Rumble doesn't really take inspiration, Usually the mainstream rune choice is Ultimate Hunter in Domination in order to get some cooldown reduction on his ultimate. But this time around, Arthur took inspiration, the Cosmic Insight. This is a must-take rune as a jungler because of the cooldown on your summoner spell. However, because of that, in order to have their upgraded smite for the 8-minute Herald fight, so Arthur wanted to get some extra power for the 8-minute first Herald fight. However, he wasn't able to pull off the play according to his rune choice. So we also want to show if Arthur took Ultimate Hunter instead, he could have gotten 13 seconds cooldown reduction on his ult and then put that equalizer onto that low HP enemies. That 13-second cooldown was so big. That was right when Diana was running away under the turret. So if Arthur instead took that domination Ultimate Hunter rune in this game, maybe Hana Life Esports could have earned more kills and scored more kills and extended their lead. When Pittori actually reminded me about this, I was so surprised. This could be a really useful tip for the junglers. You know, a lot of people are always so caught up with the first Herald fight. So if you are going to commit so hard for that Herald, well, you should take the Inspiration Rune. But if you are looking for some bloody actions, maybe you should consider taking the Ultimate Hunter in domination. And here's the second replay where Nongshim Red Force secured their Dragon Soul. The best part of this fight was Nongshim always knew where Lee Sin was, and Dudu was always on a position of very disconnected from his teammates in order to find some access on the back line in order to get a kill onto the Ziggs, but which means Yuumi was always there with him together. So Hana Life had to fight 3v5 in order to pull off this team fight, because that Lee Sin together with Yuumi were always looking for a flank angle. And Yuumi was also a champion that Sivir only had to peel off one of the enemy's collapse. So Sivir was always left alone in the back line, always getting targeted by the set Diana on the Rift. So I'm a little bit unsure about Yuumi clinging together with Lee Sin, maybe staying together with Renekton in order to protect the Sivir in the backline could have been a lot more effective. The player of the game on the side of Nongshim Red Force will be Peanut on Diana. Third POG of the LCK Summer Split. Peanut did a lot of work in this game, especially finding some solo kill onto the Sivir and also keep exerting pressure onto that lonely AD carry on the side of Hana Life Esports, and he made a lot of rotation together with Kellen on the other side of the map. This game started off with a huge loss for Nongshim Red Force for sure. Having a solo kill happening during the laning phase is a huge accident, but Nongshim stayed calm and they were able to find a breakthrough in this game. Kellen and Peanut together were so proactive in order to make counterplay into the playstyle that Yuumi could afford in this game. 6 out of 12 votes secured by Peanut, and Hana Life is a team that took down DRX 2-0 in the previous match. But this is a huge momentum swing for them if they get to lose this once again, so we're heading back to game number 2.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for the amazing translation, as per usual. And yeah, a lot of talking about Ultimate Hunter throughout that particular analyst desk. I really liked the deep dive. And thank you so much, Ji-sun. That didn't sound very easy to translate that entire thing. So huge kudos. She's just so good. I don't think we deserve Ji-sun, to be honest. She's just too fantastic.
Does anyone?
That's
true. We just sit here. We make jokes about video games, but
then the real work gets done by Ji-sun during the break.
Yeah,
it's true. Let's try and up our game for game number 2, and let's hope that Hana Life Esports can do the same thing, because it was a bit of a rough one. Chovy getting those solo kills, really having that pop-off performance, and then, as is the way with Hana Life Esports, they sort of crumble. They sort of run out of energy halfway through the game, and it felt like they really did not have much that they were able to get done. And it was just a little bit sad. So let's hope that this time around it's going to be a little bit better, as Hana Life Esports are going to choose blue side yet again. And I'm very interested in the jungle priority, because I think that Diana is just, especially in the Rumble matchup, is just better with the way League of Legends is played at the moment.
I think it's Diana's set. I think that Diana without
We
the
saw
set,
Diana Nocturne
Yeah.
also do the same thing.
Well, yeah, okay, but like you should also not let Nocturne go through.
How many bans do we have though?
Oh, a limited amount, but like don't give over a combination of those, that's for sure. And they chose blue side, but I actually think that as we get deeper into the current meta, we have seen more teams opt into red side as a choice when they lose. And I actually think that is kind of legit, because you are pointing out very succinctly, like, what is the problem in the current meta? It's that, honestly, you just want one of the AP junglers that here we regard as high level, which will be the Diana and the Rumble, right?
Yep.
Neither of which are regularly getting banned, with a set. If you get that combo, it doesn't matter which of the two it is, like, it will do really, really well. And then for Nongshim at that Ziggs, because we didn't really talk about it, but I was happy to see that Kalen also got 3 or 4 votes.
Yeah.
Because I thought his Ziggs was really good, and it ties into a larger lack of flexibility that the LCK has traditionally shown. And when teams start picking up things like the Ziggs, I personally also would not mind the Swain, especially in the amount of ungodly dive that we currently have, right? Because, like, imagine playing Swain instead of Ziggs in that last game. Like, the matchup into, instead of Sivir, because the matchup into the Ziggs obviously is not the greatest, but like the dive becomes so much harder. You can buy Zhonya's, and we all know how good that item is, and it looks like we're gonna have the exact same thing here for Nongshim.
Ooh, thinking about Rumble instead of Diana. I personally think that that's not quite as good. Just because the set Diana is such a great combo that we saw last time, but it is still just going to be the Rumble for Peanut. Does have a bit more flexibility and just, you know, fits into more of these matchups. But let's see whether Humble Life Esports are going to pull the trigger on the Diana themselves. You could just go for something like a Gwen and then go the Gwen Lee Sin route.
Oh my
and then,
god.
Yeah, Chovy Zakali could come through. What is happening there? That is so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we are going to get Chovy Zakali. So this is actually really exciting. It is going to be a bit of a change-up between Viego and the Lee Sin. Either of those can be top lane or jungle, theoretically, but we're expecting Dudu to be playing the Viego into Rich. And what is Gori going to be locking away now? They do see all of the solo lanes face up. Gwen LeBlanc being considered into the Akali. Okay.
So LeBlanc is kind of risen as one of the stronger picks into the Akali. Also, as you pointed out, kind of solidifies our theory that Rich will be playing that set in the top side, because I don't think that's necessarily a given. But I do think that with the lock-ins as they currently are, I expect that to be the case.
The Yuumi ban comes through.
Just to be sure. I don't think the Yuumi had the biggest impact last game, but it is a pick where if your team gets ahead and you're playing into Yuumi, like, you literally can't do anything. Now the real question is Nongshim going to ban, I want to say Lissandra, but like I can't even say it as a joke, because the 3 lanes, like the top side is already locked in. You can't go Lissandra anymore, right? It's not an option, but it was just so good last time that we saw that I want it to be a thing.
No. Okay, so it could happen. Dudu's playing Akali. We've got Lee Sin Senna bottom lane.
Oh.
And Chovy plays Lissandra.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yes.
So it could happen.
Yes.
That's not a prediction because it's probably not going to happen. However, would be funny.
It could. Well, you know, you pointed out the Sivir today, Atlas, so thus far, you've been on point.
I think that maybe Senna Tom Kench is what Hanwha Life Esports are looking for. I don't know how I feel about it, but I feel like that might be where they're going. Soraka going to get banned, and that is telling me that indeed Tom Kench is a consideration.
And now as Nongshim, you can just lock in. Oh, it's actually interesting.
Do you take the Tom yourself?
Go for here. Yeah, I'd say so. I think you lock in Tom, and then because Tom is really good into what Hanwha Life has. And then you can pick Jinx, you can pick Aphelios, right? Like, there's a bunch of options. So I actually really do like that.
Ooh, wow, picking away the Senna.
But that means that Rich might still pivot, right? Because that means that the set Senna is an availability now, because Kalen surely will do very well on that. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility.
Rumble Senna.
Sure.
That's, I think that was a thing one time or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, then they last picked Diana. As Kog'Maw looking to come in. I think Tom Kench would be better to buy that.
Yeah, I think so as well, but
They also put a lot into denying it, but it is going to be the Lulu. And now Nongshim just last picked Tom, I guess.
Yeah, it feels worse though, right? Maybe you just go for, I guess Seraphine is still open.
I want the Diana last pick, I really do.
It would be very cool.
It would be very cool. Whether it's good, I don't know, but...
Well, we can look at that once it gets Luxin, but I think it will just be Tom, and that doesn't feel great as Nongshim. But it doesn't feel horrible either. I think Tom still has a lot of value. It's mainly the fact that this Kog'Maw Lulu bot lane is going to just freely scale up. So does your Senna, but Senna also in this matchup specifically won't get nearly as much of the traditional Senna, you know, poke out as many souls as you possibly can into a double-ranged matchup that's a little bit harder.
Yep.
But the Tahm Kench is really, really good into Lee Sin, into a Akali, as it will be Arthur on the Lee, Dudu on the Viego top, which I think does make sense.
I think it's going to be a difficult lane for, sorry, a difficult game for Tahm Kench as well, because Whimsy, so the polymorph is really valuable to avoid the Devours. Yeah. You can just polymorph the good old Tahm Kench and then burst down your target. And with a lot of, you know, burstability from this composition, it certainly is an option, but...
Yeah, it's a hard one for me, Atlas, because I do like the bot lane. I think the bot lane is an edge, but if you look at how these compositions function as a whole, we have the exact same issue. Like, Lulu is nice, but just a Lulu ultimate isn't enough against Zed, Rumble, and LeBlanc.
It feels like we're dealing with a matchup which is individually good on the side of Harmalife Esports, but as a team good on the side of Nongshim. And unfortunately for Harmalife Esports fans, the way you win is as a team. And Nongshim have certainly been demonstrating that that's been working. That's why they are second place in the LCK at the moment. And unfortunately for Hanwha, they are well and truly towards the bottom. But Chovy is now on the Akali. You can't help but get excited about that.
But even there, you're playing into one of the generally considered pretty decent counters into the Akali. It's not the be-all end-all, but LeBlanc has a rather comfortable matchup into her, has a lot of kill pressure, or at least enough pressure to keep the Akali on the back foot. Chovy also going to have to go fleet just to deal with the continuous damage that's going to come through from the LeBlanc, so can't go Conqueror, which makes Akali that more terrifying in longer skirmishes, which, again, with what we see here on top side, might definitely happen.
Whoa. Okay, Gore's going to pop on over, gets his ward down, and Chovy's like, hey man, I'm right here.
It's rude.
It is. As the present Amumu, Cloud Templar not working today, however, would appreciate any sort of Amumu reference, I am sure. As I'm a bit sad. Every time, I feel like Deft picks the Reindeer Kog'Maw a lot, and it just makes me remember the fact that Sona is just never played in this game, ever. Because their combo, the Silent Knight Sona and the Reindeer Cog, with being able to sing together, oh, it was so cute.
It is. Aww. Rip Sona. Remember Sona, Tarek? That was a dark time.
It was a dark time, especially for the LCK.
Yeah, we were not good at it.
We were not. No. There was a certain famous game at Worlds.
Do we have to?
Yeah,
do we have to talk about this, Atlas?
Yeah, sometimes you have to reminisce in a negative way.
I was still, you know, just an LCK fan back then.
Yeah, well, maybe not that day.
I still was, but it didn't feel good.
It did not.
It did not feel good. Quite the opposite, I'd personally say.
It was a different time. As we'll see how well Deft is going to do. Of course, Lulu going to help out in the laning phase quite a lot, but you can see that Nongshim get to that level 2 first and are able to pretty comfortably shove, even if Harmalife are dodging almost every piercing darkness that comes out from Doctor. Deft, do you mind? It's just, he's a very noisy champion, isn't he?
Kog'Maw, oh yeah.
As Dudu gets the dash and Peanut. Spotted on that ward. Everyone has taken my favorite ward skin as well. I think maybe that's why sometimes it sounds like I'm biased towards Harmalife Esports, because they all have my ward skin, which feels really good. As Dudu and Rich are fighting, but this is one that Lee Sin does not win. We know that, as Arthur is going to blast cone his way out of the way of Peanut.
Ooh, nice heat management as well from Peanut. In case that there is any contest coming through, can be dealt with quite nicely. Also, Peanut did go for domination after after hearing the casters. You know, maybe he was
yeah, maybe he was watching it. As for some reason, I decided to talk about the Viego set matchup like it was exactly the same as the Lee Sin Viego matchup, and it's somewhat similar with the amount of power that you will have as the Viego, but I imagine that Rich is probably just going to be able to try and weather the storm a little bit more effectively with his bevy of defensive options. Chovy, 70% win rate, not too bad. 10 KDA, that's some Chovy statistics right there.
Having a high KDA is one thing, but then also seeing like 73 kills makes you go, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting. Very good.
He's been pretty good at the Akali. We remember the utter domination of the Harmalife Esports versus Gen G match. I think that everyone remembers the Yone game, but I almost think that the Akali game was more impressive from Chovy. Where it was definitely basically him winning by himself, but we've seen that that hasn't worked this season. A lot of people ready for Chovy to once again have a performance like that.
It's interesting, Death has gone for a couple of extra levels in E here early on, and generally, last time we saw him play the Kokmal, he went for the tanky build where you go for an early Wits End. Yeah. And generally with that build you go for the W max, so I wonder what the reasoning behind that E is, if you want to set up easier plays together with your Lulu, or whether there is any other. See if he's going to maintain that, or whether he will swap away and go for the W max, which is a bit more common.
And then he goes back to base and buys Doran's Ring Dark Seal, and we're like, what the heck? He's playing AP Kog'Maw?
Hey, it could be a thing, you know. I don't think it's likely. Is Peanut just completely ignoring Chovy? I don't know if
very
that's
nice
the way.
of him, is it? Yeah. Big Raptor is going to reset, so Chovy did keep that one alive. Peanut behind Arthur a little bit when it comes to the farm and things like that, but not going to feel too worried about it as the chains will collect Chovy. He's almost made it out of the woods though, level 5 right now. So the Akali going to be pretty fine. Actually winning in farm, of course, because it's Chovy. Somehow these things happen. Something Akali's difficult in the laning phase early. Something Chovy.
I think we have firmly established within the LCK that normal rules don't really apply when it comes to Chovy in the mid lane.
And farming, yes.
Yeah, specifically. I mean, just in general, his laning is exceptional. Peanut's still level 4, pretty far behind with the amount of attention that he has been paying towards invading, I say, as he invades. Just to place a ward this time.
Alright, that's Showstopper as Dudu's going to dash his way out. Heartbreaker comes on through here as only level 4 for Peanut, so can't exactly drop a rug underneath the Viego.
It's also teleport already invested by Rich, right? So Dudu, it's actually not the end of the world. Like, this doesn't actually gain Rich anything. It was, I think, maybe an attempted setup. If Dudu tries the path towards the bot side.
This is aggressive, as okay, they are going to face check. Q lands, but Arthur not wanting to go for anything here, respecting that Peanut could have been in position for a counter gank, and with how they were walking, maybe that's what they assumed. It did look a little bit interesting for us.
Yeah, could be the case. Peanut, of course, coming up from a fresh back, so didn't actually, as you point out, know what he was up to. Has now hit level 5. And generally the Rumble is fine. It's the clear speed is just due to his early presence paid. And there we see it was actually just 2 levels in the E. Death now gone for the rest of his points into the W. Yep. So no big surprises there. Maybe a little bit more immediate trading and poking power early on. As we do see that as a whole, not a lot is happening. Chovy's up 10 CS, par for the course, and the rest of the map, not too much action happening. We do see an invade coming down towards the top side, and Lulu roaming, not necessarily the scariest, but still needs to be respected.
Yeah, Peanut going to come on over here, spots that there is a bit of a problem happening in his jungle, and now just going to face check and likely die. Equalizer goes down, but it's just to have a bit of a party. Another Crab Rave comes on through here. As, yeah, Gori stuck in his lane, and Peanut falling early, and these rumbles that we see all the time, I don't know, man. Maybe the Diana would have been better. I don't know. It's weird, right?
I don't think that's a Rumble problem.
Yeah, I know. But it's just
he walked.
This is the Atlas result-based analysis situation, and it's like I don't know.
I first want to talk about in earnest what happened there, and then we can talk about the Rumble versus Diana, okay?
Yep.
How Diana definitely would have gotten a 1v3 kill that.
She would have, yeah, 100%. I mean, actually, I just don't think that he's going to face check if that's going to be the case. Because he's Diana, it's different. No, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
He could throw a Q.
Yeah.
It could work. No, Peanut face checking when... Like, you might not expect the Lee Sin and the Lulu and the Viego, but you have no prior on top side. Dudu was missing. You know your rep buff is up. You know that Alpha has been playing aggressively in your top side jungle. All that knowledge should be enough for you to at least go for a cheeky ward, but he didn't have one because...
Dudu getting real stabby up here towards the top side. Rich is going to go home as Nongshim should be able to grab themselves the Drake. This is what Hummerlife were unable to do in game number 1, which was trade the objective. And so Nongshim are going to be able to get something here. It is going to be the Infernal Drake next, and then a Cloud Soul for the back-to-back.
Uh-oh, that's a face breaker used. That's not good. No teleport for Gory.
Oh no, we're going back to early in the season, Rich. It's a bad news, Bears. He's definitely going to die. Can he actually take anyone with him? The answer is going to be absolutely not. Face break is kind of cool, as we're going to see a dive on the bottom side as well. A Cathian Rain getting a bit of use. Sorry, the Cathian Surprise getting a bit of use here from Deft on the bottom side of the map, but unable to actually grab any follow-up kills. So we're just going to exchange some dives.
However, if you have, if you're exchanging dives and you have a Rift Herald, then you are very happy. Because unlike the bot side of the map, where they get 1 plate, you get first turret block and like 2 more plates. So Dudu is now monstrously fed. Oh god, oh yeah, that was 600 extra gold.
Yeah,
it's Viego.
Yeah, this Viego is going to be a problem, one could say.
I am happy to see that we in the LCK have gotten better at Viego, because I think initially the pick was very often picked without really getting anything done. As you see, he knows there are people there. You see this Scry's ult getting used.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he just thought that it was only the Lee Sin. I'm not sure. I like the kick for the execute as well. Yeah, no, I know it's bad. I'm just trying to. Yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to do. It's not working. Yeah, we get to watch this one again. Hooray. Rich just dead.
Yeah. This is also just... Oh, guys, why are we watching this? It's a Kog'Maw on his own.
I wonder whether they're going to be able to get this kill, as he doesn't even know who to hit with this passive. It's like everyone's at full health. Oh dear. At least Deft is up 80 CS to participate in the meme that's undoubtedly going on in chat right now. Every single time Center is in the game.
They always do.
Yeah, no exception. A little bit of a shame. I was thinking that maybe we'd move on, but just not today.
We are not the fastest to adapt in the LCK, and that also goes for...
that goes for our Twitch chat as well. Oh no, you can't do the collective like that. That's not fair.
Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely not. That's the worst part. You know, as soon as things are true, they hurt so much more. As Nongshim looking to clear out some vision that's inside their lane. Don't want to get teleported or anything like that. As Chovy just going to 5-point strike Gory. Ahead by 25 CS. That is extending as this goes on, but we'll be able to be okay. Leaving Artillery, doing a bit of work here as Deft just chasing after Kellen. Yeah, the Kog'Maw doing pretty well. Has his Swifties as well. Love a good Swiftie. On Deft's side.
It's a double get Swifty in the bot side, yeah. Both of them not being too afraid. And the amount of hearts you see available outside of the set actually is fairly negligible. So I like it. I think it's a good adaptation. Does not save you from getting blown up by LeBlanc. So that's always something that you're kind of going to have to respect. But Gory not having the greatest game does fall. However, let's not forget, I think there's a bigger lead for Hanwha Life, but this is eerily similar to previous game, where Nongshim, 2k goal behind, but they got the first Drake. They might be able to pick the second one here as well, because the team fighting is still really, really strong, as double teleport is available.
Yeah, this is looking scary. I think wait a little bit before you go for that, as Jovi's just going to go for a bit of a ride on his Shuriken. And Gory's passive going to get procced. Certainly the LeBlanc pick into the Akali. Not really working out for Gory so far. I think there might just be a little bit of a gap in mid lane. It's good to see Chovy in some form. As Gori teleports back into the lane. And Chovy just wants to go grab himself a plate. Isn't quite going to be able to do so, as, okay, now we're going to see the re-engage from Chovy. Ults to get out to safety, and that was a lot of work put into trying to get a plate, but is going to be able to get out alive.
Chovy will have tempo, because he's going to be able to back. Didn't hit level 11, though. That one is big, but probably... Ooh, he goes... Okay, so he wants to hit level 11 before this fight, which I think is quite nice, even though he won't have his ultimate available. Gori?
Yeah, there's the Heartbreaker. Gori's likely just dead. The flash comes in, but no, Doctom's going to be here and just bait it underneath that turret. Dudu, oh my goodness. Not what you want to see, but great counterplay from Nongshim.
Oh, that's so crisp. Because I get it as Dudu, because if you get that kill, you get Drake, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, 100%.
But also if you die, you don't get Drake.
Yeah, well...
Well, actually, Gori does have to go home, so it is going to be a man equality here. There's Rich. He teleported in behind, and oh no, Death's going to have to flash. Arthur's here for a bit of peel, and Vista with his ultimate is going to be able to keep himself alive, as Chovy doesn't have his ultimate, remember. The teleport is going to come back, as in goes Chovy. Finds the Shroud into the backline, but there's the showstopper. Kick back onto Rich. He's going to get taken down, and somehow Chovy survives, as Dudu's in the front line, and Humble Life Esports, with the fact that the death timers were low and teleport was available, they saved the situation.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, Equalizer comes on down as now Humble Life Esports are trapped. Oh no, and the Dragon's stolen away as well. Cathian Surprise is going to get so much value here, but Kellen's not going to get taken down. It's an Ocean Soul, thank goodness, so I'm not able to get my predictions in today. But Chovy locks down the kill onto Peanut. Humble Life Esports not able to find anything else.
Oh, not a tense game here, Atlas. As we see, it's a favorable trade for Nongshim in terms of gold and kills, but, or sorry, for Hanwha Life, but Nongshim do secure the Drake. As we take another look at this play, and man, Doctom, flash, kill.
Did he flash in to get? Yeah, it was.
He's right.
He was off screen, right?
He's right. He's right. He is the carry. And then, as you pointed out, beautiful fight there. Really important kick there from Arthur as well, because if that
the haymaker value could have been a lot,
yeah, it's disgusting. However, and this is key, Equalizer is still available. And that's why Nongshim is even thinking about contesting this. Peanut, great Equalizer, then gets the smite steal here as well, which is really, really big, because it sets up for Nongshim being able to, even if, as long as this doesn't go horribly, this them running away, it's a good trade, I personally say, because I think that we have seen that you can come back from a couple of K gold deficit, but you can't come back from being down a soul. It just doesn't work.
It is more difficult, however, we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. It's only a couple of Drakes, and Humble Life Esports have the opportunity of stacking up 4 Oceans, which, you know, if you're deaf, you're feeling pretty good about that. Imagine that, Cogmore, 4 Ocean Drake Soul. Good.
But what
good
happened
Lord.
last game?
Yeah, I mean, that was last game, though. And I'm going to throw out some optimism here and say that Humble Life Esports saw what happened last game, and they're going to say, look, maybe we won't throw Dudu's life away before the very pivotal Soul Point fight.
You say look, I say listen. I think that Hanwha Life might make the exact same mistake that they made in the previous game.
Together we're a fairy from Ocarina of Time. It's great. No, well, I'd have to be Hay, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to be Hay.
I can Hay. That's okay.
No, you already listened, so that's
yeah,
fine.
but your look.
Yeah.
One of us is gonna have to assume double duty.
We don't need the look here, so I can just Hay. Okay, Dudu up against Gori now on the bottom side of the map. A lot more plate gold going over to Humble Life Esports as we see. 4,000 gold to lead. Humble Life are in a great spot. And we need to shout out Arthur as well. He's been able to get a lot of work done in the early stage of the game. Fallen behind in farm just a little bit, but that's okay. Just wanting to get Deft into a good spot where he can actually get some stuff done as this game goes on.
Because, as you pointed out, I was joking about the previous game, but the current state of the game is fairly favorable.
Hey guys, Deft going to take way too much damage here. He will get taken out as Arthur comes on over, but he's not going to be able to get there in time. As Cathian Surprise just going to take down the minion wave. That is 3 Cathian Surprises so far, so Deft definitely utilizing that passive very effectively. We remember Ruler played some pretty terrible Cogmore by never dying a little while ago. As, oh, Chovy, he's in trouble, going to backflip his way out, so he's going to be all right.
What do you do as Deft? Like, you're sitting underneath your turret, out of nowhere comes a Kench and you get blown up. And this is the problem that I pointed out earlier. I think the composition from Our Life is really strong, but it does have some vulnerabilities. And I think the biggest surprise here is that Nongshim is actually exploiting those vulnerabilities, because this is not a team where you'd necessarily expect this. And
yeah,
we've talked so much this LCK split about teams being proactive. You put it very nicely earlier tonight when you said we want teams to play to win, not to play not to lose.
Yeah.
뺏어갈게.
And Nongshim does that consistently.
해볼게. 노플이야. 노플.
And you can say a lot of things like, yeah, they didn't have enough, it didn't matter. It's just Kellen walking up and then ulting under the tower.
It's like, oh no, we can do this. Yeah, easy. It's like, whew.
He wasn't wrong.
And that's really what kind of scares me about the current form of Nongshim that we're seeing. Like, if they're willing to go for plays like that and execute them well mechanically, it means that the longevity that you have in its game is really impressive. But we are going into that third fight. Last time it was enough. I think this time the teleport comes in, Chovy has the stopwatch. I don't think you can contest this one as Nongshim. I think that you are currently too far behind. You're waiting on a couple of spikes. And they might go for it, but unlike last game, the poke not quite as good. Not really in a position to do anything about it. Maybe Peanut can find another great.
Yeah, I think with
steal.
Equalizer, you can always fight around a dragon, right? You're always feeling like you have that opportunity, but they don't have a lot of vision. And look at Chovy. He's going to land the backflip onto Kellen, and Hummerlife just wanting to get them out of here already. As there is still vision, actually, for Nongshim on this dragon. Teleport to come forward, living artillery just to try and poke them out as Chovy still looming. Lands another shuriken. This is Akali, the poke champion. The chains are going to connect, but not going to go off. It's okay. All 5 of Hummerlife Esports grouped up. It's not the same as last time around. Arthur's really got to nail this smite if they're going to go for the 50-50. We do not want to see a repeat of last game. This is very intense. Almost half health now. Is Gori in trouble? Chovy over the wall. That's a big old kick as Gori comes on in there. The perfect execution's very good. Haymaker's going to keep Rich alive, but Chovy is just blasting the bottom lane. Dudu turns into a Tahm Kench and saves his mid laner, and that is going to be Hummerlife Esports denying Soul Point and only ever further extending their lead.
And there was a crucial fight. Last time Hummerlife failed the test, but this time they executed beautifully. Get 3 kills, don't give up anyone themselves, and they might just turn this in. Yeah, I think it is. Peanut's still alive, so maybe you don't take the risk. I wouldn't mind them not going for it. I think it's way safer not to, and it seems like they have decided that themselves as well, which I'm a fan of. Yeah, Chovy on a pick with agency.
It's weird, right? It works really well. Oh, crazy. Let's have a look at this one more time. Chovy finds Gori and then just goes in.
Chovy used Gori poking him as
a taxi.
As a taxi for the first activation of his ultimate. Like, that's actually insane. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, let's watch it again.
Because he has no vision. Okay, he does. Even.
I mean, Gori dives in on top of him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's not like a shuriken flip, right? Like he actually, because of course the initial
and then nails it. He landed like the last 4 shuriken backflips in a row.
Also, very happy to see that in 11.13 we won't no longer have to see that.
Yeah, the Viego Tahm Kench nerf that comes through can no longer use Devour. Silas buff incoming though can now Devour. It's actually kind of cool thinking about what Silas is going to be capable of if there's a Tahm Kench in the game, because then you get Devours on both sides.
Does need a Tahm Kench in the game, which I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to see competitive.
We're the LCK. Tahm Kench will never die.
Surely, Atlas. Surely he will not be picked up anymore.
I mean, it's just switching buttons, man. I don't know.